Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Have you ever, truly stopped to consider that connection? The one you feel when you look into a dog's eyes. Their sheer joy, their boundless enthusiasm for play, and that unwavering, just rock-solid loyalty they offer.
Yeah, it's a feeling that really resonates deeply, doesn't it? It feels sort of universal, almost instantly understood.
It really does.
And that universal appeal, that immediate recognition of something, well, something special, it hints at a relationship that's far more intricate and way more ancient than we often realize.
Absolutely.
So today, we're really embarking on an extraordinary journey. We're peeling back the layers of this millennia-old bond, the profound, the enduring friendship between humans and dogs.
A relationship unlike any other, really.
Exactly. In the whole animal kingdom.
Yeah.
It's shaped by this shared history, this mutual benefit over thousands and thousands of years.
That's it. And our mission in this deep dive is to really unpack the secrets of this incredible, maybe unbreakable alliance. We want to explore how these remarkable creatures didn't just become our pets, right?
Much more than that.
They evolved into our ideal companions and in so many ways are absolutely indispensable partners. So the big question is, what is it fundamentally that makes them so incredibly loyal, following us to the ends of the earth, often without question?
And how have their unique abilities, these remarkable skills they possess, not just shaped our individual lives, but maybe even altered the very trajectory of human behavior, human civilization itself?
It's a huge question. And for this deep dive, we've drawn some truly compelling insights from a really fascinating documentary. It just brings these connections vividly to life.
Yeah, we'll be exploring some surprising facts, diving into profound scientific discoveries, and sharing these heartwarming anecdotes that will definitely make you look at your own four-legged friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Or really any dog you encounter in a whole new, deeply appreciative light. Prepare to be amazed, I think, by the depth of this ancient pack.
Okay, let's dive in. This story, this incredible saga of shared existence, it begins not just centuries, but thousands of years ago.
Way back.
It was a time when humans and these early canidigs, they established what you can only really describe as a profound emotional pact, a sort of tacit agreement, right? Mutual benefit, mutual support.
And what's truly remarkable, just astonishing really, is that this pact, forged way back then in the crucible of ancient times, amidst a really challenging, often dangerous world, it remains completely intact today. It's just a testament to its fundamental strength, its necessity even.
What's truly fascinating here is how this initial agreement, this foundational bond, it laid the groundwork for what, pretty swiftly it seems, became a truly perfect team dynamic.
Yeah, the synergy was there early on.
The sheer sharpness of a dog's senses, particularly that unparalleled sense of smell, their olfaction, it just made them an essential, almost non-negotiable part of pretty much every human endeavor.
You really have to think about it. Our early ancestors, they lived in environments where danger was everywhere, where food was scarce.
Constant challenges.
Right. So having a partner who could perceive things we simply could not, like a distant predator or hidden prey, or maybe even just a change in the weather through subtle atmospheric shifts.
Wow.
That would have been nothing short of revolutionary for survival.
That's an amazing thought. And the source material, it even hints at these incredible capabilities right from the get-go. It mentions that thanks to that sense of smell, they can detect diseases early, even save lives.
Imagine that. Long before modern medicine, before any diagnostic tools we have now, a dog was potentially picking up on something as subtle as a burgeoning illness.
It just fundamentally changes how we think about their role back then.
And this immediately brings up a really important question. What's the true nature, the intrinsic quality of this bond that allows for such profound trust, such capability?
Yeah, what's the secret sauce?
For so many people, a dog isn't just a pet. It really transcends that definition. It can represent unconditional hope, unwavering support, a unique kind of companionship, especially maybe in situations where human interaction is difficult or even absent. The documentary highlights this so beautifully with that really poignant quote from an inmate. He says, "It's like having my best friend with me in the cell. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone, but I always want to be with my dog."
Wow. That hits hard. That single statement powerfully illustrates the unique depth, the emotional resonance of that connection.
Yeah.
A constant presence offering solace.
Absolutely. And it's not just about their comforting presence, though that's vital. It's their singular, almost uncanny ability to interpret our moods, our intentions, our really subtle cues.
Things we don't even realize we're giving off.
Exactly. And to communicate back in ways that we can understand. This really makes the dog a truly unique animal, standing apart in the entire animal kingdom.
So as we embark further into this deep dive, the core questions we're really setting out to answer are, how did dogs become these ideal companions, these perfect workers, integrating so seamlessly into human society?
And what truly is the secret, the fundamental bedrock of this extraordinary, this enduring friendship?
We're diving deep into those answers now, unearthing the layers of this fascinating coevolution.
Okay, so to truly understand the ancient origins of this partnership, we need to travel. We need to go to some of the world's most extreme, most challenging environments.
Right. Places where this bond wasn't just, nice to have, but absolutely critical, life and death stuff.
Precisely. Our sources take us to Inset, a small, pretty isolated village deep in northern Norway. It's located a staggering 240 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle.
Wow, that's remote.
Extremely. It's a landscape of vast, often unforgiving beauty where the air itself bites with cold.
Sounds like a place where the bond between humans and dogs is just essential for survival, for getting across that landscape.
Absolutely. And here, in this remote setting, we encounter the Greenland dogs, a magnificent ancient breed, one of the world's oldest. They share remarkable genetic similarities with their ancient wolf ancestors.
So these aren't just companions, they're living links to that foundational pact we talked about.
Exactly. Living, breathing links, embodying centuries of adaptation, centuries of partnership.
Okay.
Here in Inset, humans and dogs still maintain a lifestyle deeply rooted in their ancestral ways. We learn about Bjorn, an individual who emigrated from Hamburg, Germany about 3 decades ago.
From Hamburg to the Arctic Circle, that's a leap.
It really is. He went specifically to establish a husky kennel in this remote wilderness. His primary motivation wasn't financial gain or anything like that. No, it was this profound, almost spiritual desire to live outdoors, to be constantly immersed in nature, and, crucially, to share his life with dogs. He says it so eloquently, even though he hasn't seen many other places. For him, this remote existence, this life intertwined with his dogs, is the most beautiful place in the world.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really underscores that primal connection, that human desire for partnership with nature, with animals.
It does. And Bjorn's journey there began with a truly ambitious walking expedition across Norway, a grueling trek.
On foot. Across Norway. Yep.
And he embarked on it with a Greenland dog right by his side. Now, that dog wasn't just there to carry luggage, although it did do that.
Sure.
It was providing crucial, life-sustaining companionship, preventing what could have been just profound, debilitating loneliness in such isolated, stark terrain.
So it highlights that multifaceted role right from the start, beyond just labor.
Absolutely. And these Greenland dogs, they are truly biological marvels, perfectly adapted for these northern expeditions. Their thick, double-layered fur provides extraordinary insulation.
And cool to be talking.
It protects them from temperatures that plunge down to an astonishing minus 40 degrees Celsius.
Minus 40. Wow.
Yeah. This isn't just a thick coat. It's an evolutionary masterpiece designed to trap warmth, repel snow. They are purebred sled dogs, every fiber shaped by nature and generations of breeding for this specific demanding environment.
Their physiology is their purpose, basically.
Exactly. So their daily grind, then, it's entirely dictated by the harsh rhythms of the Arctic seasons. Bjorn spends over 100 days out in the open field during winter, often facing extreme conditions.
For 3 months out there.
Yeah, and these incredibly energetic dogs, driven by this innate power, they run up to 60 kilometers daily, pulling sleds over vast distances.
60 kilometers a day. The endurance. It's hard to imagine from both human and animal.
It really is. And it's during these arduous shared journeys, pushing through the cold, through the snow, that Bjorn and his dogs forge this incredibly special, deeply unbreakable bond, one tested constantly by the elements. What's particularly fascinating here is the nuanced dynamic with the lead dog.
The leader of the pack, so to speak.
Well, the leader of the sled team. Bjorn describes this dog as the one he's constantly in close contact with, the one he communicates with most directly. Often just through subtle shifts in his own body language or brief commands.
Not a lot of shouting needed then.
Apparently not. The lead dog, like any exceptional working dog, exhibits this relentless drive for perfection, an almost palpable desire for everything to go well for its handler, for the team to succeed.
So it creates this deeply symbiotic relationship. built on absolute, unshakable mutual trust.
That's the core of it, a level of understanding that really goes beyond words.
So it's not just the human trusting the dog's instincts, but maybe even more profoundly, the dog trusting the human's judgment.
Exactly. Bjorn puts it very succinctly. The dog is your life insurance in these perilous conditions.
Life insurance, wow.
On one hand, the dog has to understand that the handler's orders are sound for their mutual benefit. They won't put them in danger. But on the other hand, if the dog, with its superior senses, detects something is off, maybe it senses a hidden crevasse, or pulls away from unstable ice, the handler must trust the dog's judgment instantly.
Not hesitation.
None. To avoid danger, it is this critical, continuous two-way street of survival, a constant negotiation of trust where the stakes are incredibly high.
If we connect this to the bigger picture then, this vast, snow-covered tundra of northern Norway, this lifestyle isn't just traditional, it's still essential for navigation, for transport.
That's right. And it's been the backdrop for this profound relationship for millennia. Sled dogs have maintained this remarkably close, codependent bond with humans for over 2,000 years.
2,000 years.
Yep. Whether with the nomadic Siberians, the resilient North American Inuits, or the inhabitants of Greenland, this isn't just an isolated practice. It's a deeply embedded cultural and survival strategy.
That's truly incredible. In a landscape just dominated by ice and snow, where roads were non-existent, our ancestors literally depended on their dogs, not just for hunting.
Right. Crucial for survival.
But also for travel and commerce. With their sleds, often loaded with vital goods, they could reach distant settlements, sell or buy crucial supplies.
Meaning dogs played an absolutely crucial foundational role in the social development of these regions. They knitted together isolated communities.
They were the engine of early Arctic economies, essentially.
You could say that. And this enduring dependency also means that even way back then, humans had this sophisticated appreciation for the dog's exceptional social skills, their abilities beyond just physical strength.
They valued the whole package.
Exactly. These highly valued characteristics, painstakingly formed, refined through centuries of coexistence, selective breeding, intensive collaboration, they persist today. It showcases the enduring legacy, the perfected traits of these extraordinary working dogs.
A continuous line of partnership across generations.
And here's where it gets really fascinating, shedding light on the spirit of the sled dog itself. The source explicitly states that sled dogs are unique. They challenge our conventional understanding of work because they don't need to be pressured or forced to work.
They want to do it.
They possess their own intrinsic motivation. It's described not as a chore, but as their love for pulling a sled, and even more profoundly, the satisfaction of working as a team.
Satisfaction of working as a team. Wow.
It's almost as if the element of fun, of pure enjoyment in the activity, is central to their definition of work, a joyful collaboration.
So what drives that? That innate desire for activity, for pulling, for teamwork. It's not just conditioning.
It seems not. It seems to be a deep-seated, almost biological enjoyment of the activity itself, especially when it's shared with their human partners.
Yeah.
The handler isn't just a driver, barking commands from the sled.
Right.
They become an integral part of the team, a coworker. Bjorn talks about actively helping with the sled on uphill sections, walking alongside, even putting on snowshoes himself if the snow is too deep, to provide additional pulling power.
So it's shared physical effort reinforcing that bond.
Exactly. That physical, collaborative effort deepens the connection with nature and the profound bond with the dogs. It's a shared physical and emotional experience.
It truly sounds like an integrated experience, a seamless partnership between species, where the lines between work and shared purpose just blur.
And after thousands of years of working together like this, facing shared challenges, dogs have learned to understand us in ways that are truly profound, intuitive, deeply empathetic.
Yeah.
Bjorn, reflecting on his life, says that when he's out on the sled, watching his dogs have fun, feeling that biting wind, looking at the majestic mountains, he gets an incredible feeling of freedom.
An incredible feeling of freedom. That's powerful. It's a testament to how this ancient working partnership still brings immense joy, profound purpose, and this unparalleled sense of liberation, even today.
Okay, so moving from those physically demanding frozen tundras where survival literally hinges on unspoken communication.
Yeah, that life insurance idea.
Right. Let's shift to the intricate subtleties of how dogs process our everyday signals, because here we uncover another layer of this bond. The relationship is truly special because dogs are among the very few animals on Earth that instinctively respond to our gaze.
They look where we look.
They follow where we point, and they discern meaning from how we speak to them. This isn't just a learned trick. It seems to be a deeply ingrained social response.
You're right. You don't really observe that with most other species, do you? And according to recent, really cutting-edge research, our understanding of their comprehension goes even further.
Yeah, so.
Scientists are now discovering that dogs don't just interpret our tone of voice, the happy tone, the sad tone. They actually understand parts of what we're saying.
They get the words, too.
They distinguish specific words and their meanings, even if those words are spoken in a completely neutral tone. It suggests a far more sophisticated auditory processing than we previously thought.
That's a truly significant finding. And the studies are quite elegant in how they figured this out. Researchers meticulously discovered that dogs become happy. They show distinct behavioral cues of joy when both the intonation,
That cheerful, high-pitched, good boy voice.
exactly, and the specific words used, like good dog or treat time, clearly indicate happiness. If you mix them up, happy words, sad tone, or vice versa, their response is much less enthusiastic.
So they're processing both things at once, the words and the music, so to speak.
Precisely. It demonstrates this more sophisticated, integrated level of comprehension. They're processing the verbal and the nonverbal components of our communication simultaneously.
And you know that utterly adorable head tilt dogs sometimes do, the one that just melts your heart.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the head tilt.
The source tells us that this head tilt isn't just a cute quirk. It actually provides a fascinating window into how they process language.
Really?
Research suggests that dogs process language similarly to humans. The actual words are processed predominantly by the left hemisphere of their brain, while the emotional tone of voice is processed by the right hemisphere.
Get out. That's just like us.
Isn't that mind-blowing? It implies a shared neurological architecture for processing communication. It's bridging the species gap on a brain level.
It certainly is. And it's a profound revelation. This remarkable, highly evolved ability to interpret and communicate with us has had a truly life-changing impact, allowing dogs to undertake complex tasks that would be impossible for humans alone.
Right. And this unique communicative bridge, it leads us perfectly to another incredible display of their communication, their refined instinct, and their cooperation. The herding dog phenomenon.
Ah, yes, where instinct meets meticulous human direction.
Speaking of instinct, herding dogs are described as being compulsive by nature, which sounds intense, but it's incredibly beneficial for their work, right?
Absolutely. Their innate, almost overwhelming desire to herd sheep is described almost like a drug for them, a powerful, self-rewarding drive.
A drug.
They'll exert tireless effort, demonstrate this unflagging focus, doing whatever it takes to satisfy that deeply ingrained need. And the most famous, the quintessential herding dog, originating from those rugged borderlands between England and Scotland.
Has to be the border collie.
Of course, the iconic border collie. Our sources introduce us to Derek Screenword, a man who has devoted an astonishing 50 years of his life to working with sheep and border collies.
50 years.
Yeah, amidst the sprawling, often harsh mountains of Cumbria in the UK. Derek realized early on, perhaps instinctively, that border collies were just profoundly different from other breeds he'd encountered.
How so?
He describes them as very intelligent and wanted to please. That combination makes them uniquely trainable, uniquely cooperative. For him, herding with these dogs wasn't just a job, he called it magical, and really fascinating.
Magical. I can almost picture it. A true partnership in motion. Now, one of the fundamental reasons they're so incredibly good at this demanding work is their vision, right?
Yes, their superior vision. Compared to us humans, with our typical field of vision around 180 degrees, dogs boast a much deeper field about 250 degrees.
250 degrees, that's huge.
It really is. That expansive peripheral vision allows them to spot moving animals, even a single lamb, in vast undulating landscapes much more easily and quickly than we can.
So that helps them control the whole flock, anticipate movements, spot threats.
Exactly. That enhanced visual perception is crucial. They can detect potential threats, from predators to straying animals, with incredible foresight.
Okay, so beyond their amazing senses, the most critical aspect for effective herding must be the communication between the handler and the dog.
Absolutely paramount. It's described as almost telepathic sometimes. Our sources highlight Lynn, one of Derek's border collies, listening with just unwavering attention to his brief, concise orders.
Just short commands, whistles maybe.
Often just that, a whistle or a hand signal. But that's enough for Lynn to know precisely which sheep to guide, which way to turn them, exactly where to take them, even from hundreds of meters away.
An economy of language that speaks volumes about their mutual understanding.
It really is, and it's a delicate balance, isn't it? Their work requires this constant dynamic interplay between perfect, unquestioning obedience to the handler's directives.
Right, do what I say.
But also crucial on-the-spot initiative when unforeseen circumstances arise. Maybe a sheep bolts unexpectedly.
Yeah, they have to think on their feet too.
Yeah.
And their physical endurance. You mentioned the sled dogs running 60 kilometers.
It's astounding here, too. Almost beyond human comprehension in this context as well. These dogs can effortlessly run a kilometer with ease, often covering vast distances in really rugged terrain, working tirelessly all day long.
All day, constantly getting instructions.
Constantly receiving and responding to directives. Derek observes, almost with awe, that no human could endure that level of constant instruction and physical exertion for more than maybe 20 minutes.
Wow, these dogs are just invaluable, tireless helpers then.
Completely. And this intricate partnership, it has deep historical roots. The direct ancestors of the modern Border Collie were already diligently assisting shepherds way back in 16th century England and Scotland.
16th century?
Yeah. Those early shepherds, through careful observation and selective breeding, they actively developed and refined their exceptional abilities. These dogs were key companions, utterly indispensable for guiding sheep to new pastures, fresh water.
Especially in those huge, unfenced grasslands, right?
Exactly, where flocks could spread out for miles. They were essentially the mobile infrastructure of early pastoral farming.
And even today, despite all our technology, working effectively in such vast, challenging environments would be virtually impossible without these dogs.
That's what Derek says. Imagine trying to manage a scattered flock of sheep over 800 meters away, maybe hidden by hills or fog.
Can't be done by a person alone.
But shepherds like Derek can communicate with their dogs over these vast distances, directing them with precision. Derek, for instance, trusts his dogs blindly. He places his entire livelihood, the welfare of his flock, in their paws.
And they trust him back completely.
Totally, carrying out his commands with unwavering dedication. It's this profound, palpable, mutual trust built over years and years of shared work.
So how does Derek train them? How do you harness that instinct?
Well, it highlights how he meticulously trains his dogs to harness their natural predatory instincts, that instinct to focus intently on prey, to chase, to isolate an animal, and ultimately to guide it.
Right, the wolf inside.
Exactly, but he channels it precisely. Instead of harming the sheep, they apply these powerful primal drives to the task of herding, directing the flock exactly where it needs to go, into a pen, to new grazing, away from danger.
So for shepherds like Derek, border collies are just as valuable today as centuries ago.
Absolutely. Their role remains fundamentally unchanged and supremely effective.
It's clear Derek genuinely enjoys his work, finds immense satisfaction, especially when he has a dog with what he calls a genius.
A genius dog. I love that.
He says some are much more capable than I could ever be. He mentions Lynn, his border collie. It's a prime example, saying it's almost as if she had been here before.
Wow. So naturally talented, intuitive.
It's not just a job for him, it's a calling. A dance of instinct and intelligence.
And this exemplifies why these four-legged collaborators face and overcome daily challenges alongside shepherds all over the world, from the Scottish Highlands to the Australian outback. What's truly unique, and maybe the most profound revelation in this whole discussion, is the dog's inherent, almost overwhelming desire to live and work with humans, to be part of our lives.
They choose us.
It seems that way. Researchers even propose, quite compellingly, that dogs played this central, pivotal role in the very development of human behavior itself.
How so?
Fundamentally altering our social structures, maybe our hunting strategies, perhaps even fostering the very qualities of empathy and cooperation within our own species.
Boy.
Without our close, evolving bond with dogs, the sources suggest we probably wouldn't be where we are today.
That really connects the dots, doesn't it? How fundamental, how transformative this relationship truly is to our own human story.
It's a truly mind-blowing thought, isn't it, that our very evolution, our trajectory as a species, might be just inextricably tied to our canine companions.
Not hard to overstate.
And speaking of incredible abilities that just push the boundaries of what we thought possible, there is one that truly defines dogs. Their astounding, unparalleled sense of smell.
Right. The nose knows.
It really does. Unlike us humans, who predominantly perceive the world through visual cues, dogs are almost entirely immersed in a world saturated with aromas.
World of smells.
For them, every breath is this complex tapestry of scents. Every gust of wind is a narrative. Every object an intricate chemical signature. Their olfactory world is incredibly rich, complex. It provides a depth of information that is truly beyond our comprehension.
Makes our sense of smell seem pretty basic.
Rudimentary, yeah. And here's where we move from fascinating biology to some truly life-saving, pioneering applications of that incredible ability. Our sources take us to Grappas, a small town in southern Austria. Here, dogs are doing incredible, groundbreaking work in an area normally reserved for cutting-edge human technology.
What are they doing?
We hear the compelling, deeply personal story of Franz Weber. His 2 dogs, Rock and Blues, literally saved his life.
Ow.
They detected his early prostate cancer. They started exhibiting subtle behavioral changes, indicating something was wrong, even before his urological analyses confirmed the diagnosis.
Before the medical tests.
Wow. He states it unequivocally. He has no doubt those dogs saved his life. And this isn't just an isolated anecdote. It's a powerful testament to a rapidly growing, scientifically validated field where dogs are proving invaluable as diagnostic tools.
That's absolutely incredible. And who's driving this?
Well, driving much of this progress is Wolfgang Gladbach. He's a former police dog supervisor who has dedicated over a decade to invaluable nonprofit work in this area. He single-handedly spearheaded the creation of the world's first canine cancer detection unit, and he overcame immense initial skepticism from the medical community, from the public.
I can imagine. Dogs sniffing out cancer. People must have thought he was crazy.
Probably. But today, his office is a global hub, receiving breath, urine, saliva samples from all over the world, sent by people who've heard the stories, who believe implicitly in the extraordinary sensory abilities of these detection dogs.
A testament to his vision and perseverance.
Absolutely. The science behind their method, while relying on the dog's innate sense, is surprisingly rigorous, meticulously controlled.
How does it work?
Samples are carefully deposited in a specific, standardized arrangement on a beam, often including both positive known cancer and negative healthy controls.
Right, to check they're accurate.
Exactly. Crucial for ensuring the dog's olfaction is working accurately and for training them to discriminate precisely. What the dogs smell are specific, volatile organic compounds, often described as distinctive alkaline molecules.
Molecules released by cancer cells.
Exactly. Released as the cells metabolize and replicate. For instance, these distinct molecules can be detected in breath samples from lung cancer patients or in urine from prostate cancer patients. It's a unique scent signature of the disease.
An astonishingly meticulous process, almost like a biological spectrometer.
It really is. Each dog in Wolfgang's unit has developed its own unique, recognizable way of indicating a finding, sitting, pawing, barking at the positive sample.
They have their own signals.
Mm-hmm. And Wolfgang is absolutely clear about the incredibly high stakes involved. He says, there are human lives at stake. You must be careful to keep the error rate as low as possible.
Yeah, to be sure.
To ensure this unparalleled accuracy, after each examination, the entire beam is thoroughly disinfected, eliminates any residual odors that might confuse them. Then the samples are repositioned and repeated.
Okay.
Each individual sample is meticulously examined at least 15 times by a minimum of 5 different dogs, with constant rotation, all to minimize potential errors or false positives before a definitive determination is made.
15 times by 5 dogs. That's incredibly rigorous, a gold standard of testing.
It has to be. And the results of this rigorous protocol, they're nothing short of unprecedented. They've garnered significant scientific attention.
What kind of accuracy are we talking?
In a large-scale medical study supervised by independent specialists, Wolfgang Gladbach's unit achieved an astonishing identification rate of 93% across 2,200 documented cancer cases.
93%? That's incredible.
He describes the dogs not merely as tools, but as his true partners, his life's work. The results, he says, are their profound reward. Knowing their extraordinary capabilities are actively saving lives or enabling early detection of diseases that might have only shown up years later.
When treatment options would be far more limited.
Exactly. And they're not stopping there. They're continuing to push the boundaries of canine diagnostics.
What's next?
Wolfgang and his team are actively developing new diagnostic exams to be performed directly in the presence of humans. Moving beyond just samples, Valera, a highly specialized Labrador, is currently being trained to detect skin cancer by smelling directly on a person's arm.
Smelling your arm for skin cancer.
First, she'll sniff a cancerous sample to imprint the precise aroma. Then she applies that learned knowledge to a live subject. Imagine the future implications. Non-invasive, incredibly early diagnosis in your doctor's office.
Wow, the potential is huge.
The sheer, raw power of a dog's nose is almost unfathomable. Truly a sensory superpower, with nearly 220 million olfactory cells.
220 million. How many do we have?
We have about 5 or 6 million, so they have around 40 times more than us.
40 times.
Which allows dogs to pick up and distinguish the minutest odors, even a single odor molecule among a trillion others.
A trillion. It's hard to even grasp that scale.
Yeah.
Like one drop of ink in an Olympic pool.
That's a good analogy. The complexity, the sheer informational density, the boundless extent of the dog's aromatic world, it's truly beyond human comprehension. It leads to what our sources aptly call hound dogs that defy science.
They operate on a sensory plane we can barely imagine.
Exactly, and it's genuinely hard to wrap your head around that level of sensory perception. To give us a compelling, real-world example of this olfactory mastery in action, we head to North Carolina.
Okay.
On the scenic coast of the U.S., we meet Lisa Briggs and her magnificent golden retriever, Layla. Layla is rigorously trained to detect human remains for complex police investigations.
Human remains detection. That's intense work.
Very, often working in challenging and varied environments. Layla lives with Lisa as a beloved pet, enjoying all the comforts of home, but as soon as her specialized vest goes on...
She switches gears.
Completely. She transitions, becomes fully on duty, her focus razor sharp. By the remarkably young age of 3, she had already helped solve 8 complex cases by pinpointing human remains, often in situations where human search teams had failed.
So she's an exceptionally gifted detective.
You could say that. Her success rate speaks volumes. Dogs like Layla, specifically trained for this, are truly considered to have the very best, most refined sense of smell within the canine world.
And they can tell the difference between human remains and, say, an animal.
Yes. During the complex process of decomposition, hundreds of different volatile odor molecules are released, creating a unique signature. Layla is one of the elite few dogs who can consistently identify these specific human decomposition odors, distinguishing them from other decaying matter with astonishing accuracy.
That specificity must be crucial for law enforcement.
Absolutely vital. Lisa's critical role in this partnership is to meticulously interpret Layla's subtle body language, the precise twitch of her tail, the angle of her muzzle, the shifts in her ears, maybe a specific bark.
Reading the signals.
Right. To pinpoint the exact source of the scent. Layla's job isn't just to get Lisa close. Her training dictates she must lead her handler precisely to the source, often signaling the exact spot, even if it's buried or obscured.
A highly refined system of communication, built on years of training and mutual understanding.
Exactly. And their training is incredibly rigorous, very realistic. It mirrors real-world conditions. Layla trains extensively in dense forests, detecting scents in all sorts of conditions, out in the open, buried deep underground, even submerged in water.
Ensuring reliability everywhere.
Now, for Layla, this intense training, this demanding work, it's perceived as an elaborate game. The successful find, followed by a reward, that's her motivation, her satisfaction.
So for Lisa?
For Lisa, the emotional toll of dealing with these often tragic discoveries is immense, and she carries the crucial responsibility of maintaining her dog's happiness, her mental well-being, despite the difficult nature of their findings.
A profound emotional partnership there, too.
Definitely. What's truly fascinating and often humbling for human forensic teams is how frequently Lisa and Layla's specialized team surpasses many conventional forensic methods used by the police.
They find what others missed.
Often. This unique, deeply synergistic relationship also reveals something profound about how dogs perceive us. They view their handlers not just as companions, but as the most important person in their world, their anchor.
Yeah?
And they are capable of adopting our viewpoint, our purpose. That is precisely why we can confidently place such immense trust and profound responsibility upon them, knowing they will rise to the challenge. #, emotional intelligence and cognitive prowess.
Which leads us beautifully, I think, to the heart of the matter. The sheer depth of their emotional intelligence and their remarkable cognitive prowess.
Yeah, these abilities aren't just impressive in isolation, they are truly life-transforming, particularly evident in the vital work of assistance dogs.
Where dogs serve not just as helpers, but as crucial emotional anchors.
Exactly. The sources introduce us to Carlotta, a young woman diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at age 13. Her life, before a crucial intervention, was marked by significant, debilitating challenges.
Like what?
Immense difficulty navigating crowded spaces, an inability to undertake simple tasks alone, profound struggles participating in group conversations, and this overwhelming constant fear of unpredictable social situations.
That sounds incredibly isolating.
It was. It led to a life circumscribed by limitations, periods of severe depression, even self-destructive behaviors, really isolating her from the world.
But then came Pina.
Then came Pina, a beautiful Australian shepherd.
Assistance.
Because of their remarkable capacity to mirror and respond to human emotions. They possess this uncanny ability to sense if a person is happy or sad, anxious or calm, often before the human themselves is fully aware.
Wow.
For Carlotta, this provides a profound, consistent sense of security and validation. She describes feeling, "You don't have to be afraid, and I can depend on her every second." Adding, with immense gratitude, "She always makes me feel loved."
That's just incredibly touching. A powerful antidote to a lifetime of feeling misunderstood. It paints such a vivid picture of the profound impact of this bond.
Carlotta summarizes it simply but powerfully. "I know there's someone taking care of me." Thanks entirely to Pina, Carlotta can now face daily life alone, navigating challenges that once seemed insurmountable.
That's amazing progress.
She'll soon attend university, pursuing her dreams. She's even found love, building a life that once seemed impossible. And most importantly, Pina has given Carlotta her radiant smile back.
A testament to the sheer transformative power of that emotional connection, the unwavering support a dog can provide.
Absolutely. And this incredible empathy, this ability to connect so deeply with our emotions, it seems to be rooted in a unique cognitive ability scientists have recently illuminated.
Oh, what's that?
They've discovered that dogs look at our faces in a very specific way, remarkably similar to how humans instinctively do. They concentrate on the more expressive right side of our faces.
The right side? Why the right side?
That's the side that often reveals more subtle emotional cues, apparently. Our faces are often windows to our inner states, right?
True.
This is precisely how they connect with our emotions, a profound, nuanced connection that is surprisingly unique to human-dog interactions. Remarkably, it's not observed between dogs themselves.
So it's something special, just for us.
Yeah.
Tailored to our bond.
It underscores that special bond. Now, here's where it gets truly fascinating on the intelligence front, demonstrating their sophisticated understanding of our world, their self-control, their advanced learning capabilities.
Okay, let's hear it.
Take Mario, for instance. A dog whose owner, Johanna, trained him through this delightful exercise to wait before eating his food.
The wait command. Classic.
Right. So when his bowl is placed down, he gets the clear wait signal. He has to hold that command before he can approach his delicious meal. Mario observed Johanna with this cautious intensity, his eyes tracking her every move.
Because the food is right there. Tempting.
Exactly, a powerful lure. But he knows he must wait. The key insight comes next. Only when he believes he's no longer being directly observed, maybe Johanna turns her back or leaves the room, only then does Mario dare to approach his food.
Sneaky.
But smart. All the while keeping one eye on Johanna to make sure he isn't caught. This isn't just simple rote obedience. Mario is clearly engaging in complex cognitive processing.
What's he thinking?
He's considering the potential consequences of being caught. He's assessing the situation. He's constantly reevaluating his chances of success. This continuous adaptive reevaluation is a clear indicator of high intelligence, strong impulse control, and remarkable adaptability.
Which explains why dogs are capable of learning so much, integrating so seamlessly into our complex human world.
Precisely. And no discussion of canine intelligence would be complete or truly do justice to the topic without celebrating Chaser.
Ah, Chaser. The legend. The border collie who truly made history, redefined our understanding of animal cognition.
Her owner, Professor John Pilley, a psychology professor by trade, was looking for a new, engaging challenge after retirement. He certainly found one.
And the world is richer for it.
His wife, Sally, actually bought him Chaser, recognizing his need for stimulating pursuit after retirement had left him feeling a bit, well, unmoored and down.
Good move by Sally.
Definitely. This remarkable border collie, full of life, boundless energy, became his four-legged research subject, leading to some of the most surprising, profound discoveries in animal cognition. Pilley meticulously observed that integrating play into their learning sessions profoundly motivated Chaser.
Play was the key.
It helped her learn faster, retain information more effectively, memorize things with astonishing accuracy. It was a game changer for their research.
So play wasn't just fun. It was fundamental to unlocking her incredible potential.
Exactly. And Chaser truly exhibited this insatiable craving to learn. She went on to learn the names of over 1,000 objects.
1,000. More nouns than any other non-human animal ever recorded, right?
That's the record. Pilley started by teaching her common nouns, simple objects, and she just picked them up with startling speed, startling enthusiasm, demonstrating an incredible capacity for vocabulary acquisition.
But Pilley's research didn't stop there, just listing words.
No, he bravely expanded his studies to include 3 grammatical elements, proving, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Chaser possessed an understanding of syntax.
Syntax, like grammar rules.
The rules by which words combine to form meaning. For example, she could precisely understand the difference between take the toy and put it next to the ball versus take the ball and put it next to the toy.
Whoa. So swapping the words changed the meaning for her. She got that.
She got it. The meaning of the command changed fundamentally when the objects were inverted, demonstrating not just rote memorization, but a sophisticated understanding of language rules, semantics, a concept previously thought exclusive to humans.
That's truly incredible. A revolution in cognitive science.
It really was. Pilley rigorously documented and published his groundbreaking research on Chaser in numerous peer-reviewed scientific publications. These were then meticulously scrutinized, reviewed by other prominent researchers.
And what did they find? Was she just a one-off genius?
Overwhelmingly, they found that Chaser wasn't an isolated anomaly. Her capabilities hinted at a broader, untapped potential within the canine species. It became undeniably evident that the intelligence of dogs had been profoundly underestimated by the scientific community.
Forcing a dramatic reevaluation of animal cognition.
Exactly. Chaser's infectious love for games, her powerful natural instincts, her deep, unwavering bond with her dedicated owner. It served as this compelling demonstration to the entire world of what dogs are truly capable of achieving.
She became an international star, the most intelligent dog in the world.
Widely celebrated, her story inspiring countless individuals, researchers alike.
And for all of us devoted dog lovers out there, for anyone who has ever shared their life with a canine companion, these scientific discoveries, they ultimately validated what we've always instinctively known, right?
Felt in our hearts, perhaps.
That our dogs are far, far more intelligent, more empathetic, more capable than we ever truly gave them credit for. It's not just wishful thinking anymore.
It's now scientifically proven. A beautiful confirmation of the incredible creatures we share our lives with. Indeed. Intelligent, sensitive, loyal, outgoing, endlessly adaptable. It's really no wonder dogs are so deeply beloved worldwide, consistently ranked as our most cherished companions.
Right.
But there's one more element. A subtle yet incredibly powerful secret weapon that nobody, absolutely nobody, can resist.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Their sweet, innocent, irresistible puppy dog eyes.
Yes. That look. The one that gets them anything. The Force reveals that this characteristic, this specific eye musculature and expression, has actually been scientifically shown to have developed, been refined, specifically for their interaction with humans.
Honed through millennia of coevolution.
Exactly. Their gaze, that soulful, direct stare, it's quite possibly their most potent, most influential secret weapon in solidifying our bond, influencing our behavior. It's a masterclass in nonverbal communication.
And here's where the cutting-edge science provides the key to its power. When we humans gaze into those captivating puppy eyes, especially when combined with a soft, affectionate tone.
Yeah, what happens in our brains?
It triggers a powerful neurochemical cascade. It activates the very same hormonal pathways that bond a mother to her child. Oxytocin?
The love hormone.
Often called the affection or love hormone, yes, and dopamine.
The happiness hormone.
The happiness or reward hormone. We literally yield to their tenderness. Our brains are hardwired to respond with care, with devotion.
And here's the truly beautiful reciprocal part, right? It's a genuine two-way street.
A mutual feedback loop of affection. Dogs themselves also experience a release of these very same bonding hormones, oxytocin and dopamine, when they are with us, particularly during affectionate interactions like petting or shared gazes.
So they feel the love too.
This creates a deeply mutual connection, a reciprocal emotional bond that is truly unique and profound in the entire animal kingdom. A dance of neurochemistry that cements our love for each other.
Wow. And this profound unconditional bond, it extends its transformative power even to the most challenging, unexpected environments.
Like where?
Our sources take us to the Gwinnett County Jail in Georgia, USA. A truly remarkable, innovative program has been launched there.
In a jail. What kind of program?
As part of this initiative, inmates temporarily adopt and care for shelter dogs. They work with them day and night, diligently training them until these dogs are ready to find their new forever homes outside the prison walls.
That sounds amazing. What's it called?
This compassionate initiative is aptly named Operation Second Chance, and it specifically targets critical shelter dogs who are facing imminent euthanasia.
So dogs who are really on their last chance.
Exactly. Dogs who, for various reasons, would have been put down if no one adopted them within a certain time frame. So this program is quite literally saving lives on both ends of the leash, offering a second chance not only to deserving dogs, but also to human beings striving for redemption.
Wow. We hear directly from Michael Conroy, an inmate involved.
Yes, Michael has been deeply involved, diligently caring for Roxy, a mixed-breed dog, for 3 years now. He speaks so movingly about the profound loneliness, the isolation of prison life, the gradual fading of contact with family, fewer letters, fewer calls, this growing sense of disconnection. For him, having Roxy is like having my best friend in my cell.
His best friend.
He emphasizes her unwavering, unconditional support, saying, sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone, but I always want to be with my dog. She's a constant, comforting presence, always there, always accepting, even if he comes back from court with bad news or is just struggling.
That's incredibly poignant, heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time.
Michael openly admits he made bad decisions that led to his arrest. He's there, waiting for a plea agreement, grappling with his past. But the program profoundly transforms the inmates as well.
How does it change them?
Many of them, perhaps through no fault of their own, never received consistent affection or were shown fundamental respect before incarceration. And these dogs provide that unconditionally, without judgment. The dogs love and need these men.
Creating a powerful sense of purpose, self-worth, where maybe none existed before.
Absolutely. And the presence of the dogs makes a huge, tangible difference within the prison units themselves. Behavioral problems among inmates become remarkably rare.
Really?
Yeah. The dogs seem to radiate this profound sense of peace, making the units noticeably quieter, far more calm. It's described as a remarkably peaceful place, a stark contrast to the often tense atmosphere you might associate with correctional facilities.
The dog's soothing, positive influence, it speaks volumes.
And this close, deeply therapeutic bond between the dogs and inmates has a truly profound, lasting influence. Many inmates, through the dogs, see themselves reflected in these innocent creatures.
How so?
Rejected, despised, abandoned by society. Much do they feel themselves? The dogs help them confront and deal with their past actions, their behaviors, fostering introspection, empathy. Michael explains that before his arrest, he was extremely impulsive, quick to anger, lacked self-discipline. But the painstaking process of training Roxy day in and day out taught him invaluable lessons in patience, responsibility, self-control.
Skills essential for re-entering society.
Meticulously preparing him, he reflects very candidly, I was a mess before I got arrested. I was a mess of a person. The dogs are truly helping them rebuild themselves.
And the program itself, Operation Second Chance, it's been a success.
A resounding success on multiple fronts. Since it started in 2010, over 400 dogs have been rescued from euthanasia and successfully adopted by new, loving families found their forever homes.
That's fantastic news for the dogs.
It is. However, there's a truly heartbreaking reality embedded within this program.
Oh, what's that?
The moment the dogs are adopted and leave the prison, Michael expresses his intense, palpable fear that Roxy will be adopted and he'll be left utterly alone again in his cell.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that part.
He's witnessed other inmates, often hardened men, become deeply attached to their dogs, only for the dog to be adopted and taken away. He describes these moments as profoundly sad. Inmates locking themselves in their cells, openly crying.
Grappling with a loss as deep as any family separation.
He says, his voice thick with emotion. A dog like that is like a child. It's like your child being adopted or disappearing. And you can almost tell just from the sound of his voice and the way Roxy leans into him.
He knows.
She knows he's talking about her, sensing the weight of his words. This program truly exemplifies the astonishing depths of the human-dog connection, demonstrating its power to heal, transform, provide unconditional love, even the most challenging, isolated, desperate circumstances.
A testament to hope and connection, truly. #outro. So as we kind of bring together all these diverse threads from this deep dive, from the ancient Arctic plains to modern science labs, even inside prison walls,
It's been quite a journey.
it really has. It becomes incredibly clear that our relationship with dogs is profoundly, uniquely special. It's a bond centered not just on shared history, but on these powerful, reciprocal, positive feelings, unwavering trust,
Absolute loyalty.
intuitive intelligence, profound empathy, and just unconditional love. A dog, really, in its purest essence, never asks anything complex of us, do they?
No, not really.
They simply ask for acceptance, for companionship, and for us to reciprocate the love they so freely give.
And the beauty of it is that science, with all its rigor, now confirms what we've probably always felt instinctively in our hearts. Our dogs truly love us back, not just as masters, but as cherished companions. Studies have shown that their brains respond to us with the very same feelings in the same brain areas, those reward and bonding centers, that our brains respond to them.
It's that perfect, mutual, deeply reciprocal bond, that neurochemical dance of affection and attachment.
That, my friends, is possibly the very foundation, the unshakable bedrock of this beautiful, unbreakable friendship that has endured for millennia.
And this unique bond, scientifically proven to be reciprocal, deeply rooted in our shared evolutionary history. It poses a fascinating kind of open-ended question for our future together, doesn't it?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
Given this profound connection, this mutual wiring for affection and partnership, how can we as humans further strengthen this remarkable alliance? What new avenues of understanding can we explore to deepen this bond even further, maybe even benefiting our own species in unforeseen ways?
And what more might we learn from these incredible creatures, the ones who so readily accept us exactly as we are, flaws and all,
Yeah.
and whose brains are quite literally wired to love us back, mirroring our own affection? It's a profound thought, isn't it? An invitation to ongoing discovery.
And a connection to cherish long after this deep dive ends.